I lead a Yakuza family. Here's how the system actually works. I came from the kind of street where the light was always borrowed and the dark was always yours. The sound of that sliding door at night. Even now, 30 years later, it still lives somewhere in my spine. 3 men walked past and the whole street moved for them. I was 8. I never forgot what that meant. Winning matters less than what you do when you are losing. I learned that on a concrete schoolyard floor. A man with that kind of smile has been looking for something very specific. I was exactly what he needed. No pitch, no promises, just sake, an envelope, and a man patient enough to let you decide for yourself. Everyone who enters this world tells themselves the same thing on the first night. Just this once. There is no line you can see, no door, but you cross it, and crossing back becomes structurally impossible. They tested me with silence that first night. I passed by not asking a single question until morning. Fear is expensive to install and almost free to maintain. That is the entire economics of what we do. He counted twice. Put the ledger away. That was my performance review. I understood I had passed it. A standoff is not about strength. It is about who needs the outcome more. That night, I needed nothing. Pain is just information. You acknowledge it, and then you decide what to do with it. I decided nothing. The dragon doesn't decorate you. It declares you. Everyone who needs to know will know when they see it. He did not hesitate. That mattered. A man who hesitates at his own consequence has already lost everything. A business card in the Yakuza is not paper. It is a declaration of what you now are and cannot unbe. The envelope goes under the table because both men prefer the fiction of what is above it. That is the deal. 20 men on each side. I stepped into the space between them. The space immediately belonged to me. Authority is not given. It is recognized. That night, 20 men recognized something in me simultaneously. I walked in, the water was warm, the room was full. 10 minutes later, I had it entirely to myself. 3 docks, 12 channels, 1 month to build it from nothing. He gave me the map and walked away. A network is not built with force. It is built by making people feel that belonging to it protects them. 1 stamp on 1 page. That is the entire distance between contraband and legitimate cargo. 1 stamp. Above the table, I was unremarkable. Below it, I controlled more tonnage than most licensed freight companies. I folded my hands and waited. The longer the silence, the more weight it puts on the man across from you. Numbers translate perfectly across every language barrier I have ever encountered. Numbers are universal. Most marriages are built on hope. Ours was built on full information. It was stronger for that. She was 7 pounds and she fit in my 2 hands, and for 30 seconds I forgot every single thing I was. A clean death in a bed with your name still intact. In 30 years I have seen that happen very rarely. I held the seal and understood that picking it up meant accepting everything that came attached to it. Each man brought me his loyalty and his exposure simultaneously. By morning, I owned both from 47 men. The company existed legally. The money it moved did not come from legal places. That gap was the business. An hour of sitting with it. Then work. Grief in our world is not a luxury you get to extend beyond that. I didn't threaten anyone. I simply demonstrated that I already knew enough to make threats unnecessary. Making the badge illegal was a misunderstanding of where the actual power had always been located. Suits instead of symbols. Conference tables instead of tatami. The conversation underneath never changed. She didn't look back once through those gates. I watched until the crowd closed behind her completely. The photographs were clear, the dates matched. I read it 4 times, hoping the conclusion would change. Tea first, 1 question after. His silence between the cup and the answer told me more than words could have. The crash exposed how thin the legal layer always was. The layer beneath it did not even notice the crisis. I recognized 31 faces on that screen. I held my coffee and did not move from that room all day. 20 years of men at the door, and then one bare room, one futon, and the loudest silence of my life. He rebuilt the entire structure from a hand-drawn map on a bare floor. I ate rice and watched him work. 30 men who are absolutely certain are worth more than 300 who are conditionally committed. I reached for something on a shelf, and she was at the end of the aisle, and 4 years collapsed to nothing. They were committed and organized, and they arrived 5 minutes after I had already decided to be gone. When the air in a place changes, you feel it before you understand it. I felt it, and I walked out the back. 3 hours across a low table in the mountains. He was smart enough to talk. That kept him alive. I gave them the South Quarter and saved 40 lives. Nobody saw that math except me. That was sufficient. I stood at that pond until the petals stopped meaning anything and started just being petals falling. Less than a week. I sat in the car and watched Osaka move past the window one more time without stopping. You do not run from what you spent 30 years constructing. You remain inside it, and you wait for the end.